As you can see, the Red Raiders have taken the field and getting ready here to face the Winnacunnet Warriors as Jim Collins, still winless this season, Kevin, as we talked about, despite that brilliant game at Dover, warming up to face the Winnacunnet Warriors. And interesting thing, we asked head coach Hugo Bolin of the Red Raiders what he thought of this game, whether it was a pivotal one for his season. He said this club is scary because they've given a couple of teams some trouble this year.
They have. They've given a lot of teams some scares. They've been in most of their ball games, and they have 4 losses and only 6 games played. But when you're in the ball games, you always have a chance to win, and that really can have the opponent trying to work extra hard to win the game. And Spaulding knows they're going to be in a tough one tonight. They got Jim Collins on the mound, who really had a super game last time against Dover. 3 hits, lost 1-0, and he's had some tough luck this season. He had his first 2 outings, he had some trouble. Got yanked early, but he settled down last game against Dover and just did not have the offensive support behind him. But Spaulding has shown they do have that support, and tonight they want to get the bats going again.
Umpiring tonight behind the plate will be Frank Du Bois of Dover, and on the bases, Greg Cadulary of Dover, principal of Dover High School. And Collins is going to be facing Mike Bisbee, the center fielder who's a junior, the junior right fielder Keith Hanglin, and the senior pitcher Tim Sullivan. They'll be the first 3 batters coming up here in the top of the first inning at Spaulding Field, cooling off after a pretty decent day, but clear, no threat of rain, thank heaven, for tonight's game. For the Warriors, Chris Goodwin will be at second base, David Carlino at first, Kevin Shaw will be in left field, Alex Kellogg catching, Jeff McNally at shortstop, and Mark Elwood at third base. That's the Winnacunnet lineup, and Bisbee stepping in. The pitch goes outside for a ball. So the Raiders, as we said, 4-4, Winnacunnet 2-4. And the second Collins pitch rides outside.
We talked about Jim having some trouble in the first innings. Once he gets through the first inning, he really settles down, and he's the type of kid who can throw some decent fastballs. When he comes with the heat, he can really let it fly, but he has to settle down first and stay ahead of the batters. That's the key to Jim Collins.
Right now he's down 3-0, and in his last outing against Dover, as a matter of fact, he loaded the bases with 1 out, having some troubles with walks, and Bisbee draws a walk to lead the game off. And there's Keith Hanglin, batting from the left side, a junior. One thing about the Warriors that we're going to, as we go down, they've got 2 sophomores and a freshman in the infield, with Goodwin, the second baseman, a sophomore. Jeff McNally at shortstop is a freshman. So it's a young club that at times has not played good defense this season, and that's hurt them.
You'll find that with a young club, especially up the middle with your short and second baseman, freshmen and sophomores. It takes time to mature around there, and Spaulding has a sophomore starting at shortstop for the Raiders, but he has played a couple of seasons here, and he's played at this level before, but you like to have some people with maturity up the middle.
1-1 the count on Hanglin. Collins to the plate. There goes the runner. Throw down to second, and he's in there. So Mike Guile, the 4th-year head coach of the Winnacunnet Warriors, sending Bisbee down, and he winds up stealing second, put himself in scoring position.
Winnacunnet wasting no time. Bisbee draws a walk to start off the game and quickly scoots down to second on the stolen base. T.J. Lancey with a strong throw came up on a higher hop, didn't get the skip he wanted.
Pitch inside for a ball. 3-1 now the count. So Jimmy Collins has fallen behind both batters, with Tim Sullivan, the left-handed pitcher, on deck. Rounded back through the middle, and it goes under the glove of Keefe into center field. They'll send the runner. And here comes the throw, and he dives, slides in head first, and he's in there. Been a little bit lower, Kevin. He might have gotten him.
Strong throw by Donatello in center field, but it was too high. Over the cutoff man's head. No way to cut the ball off there. They wanted to go to the plate anyway, but T.J. Lancey had to get it over his head, and that allowed Bisbee to slide underneath the tag.
We'll bring up Tim Sullivan, who plays left field when he isn't pitching. He's on the mound tonight. And Sullivan, a senior veteran of the Winnacunnet baseball program. Also a pretty fine hockey player. Closing out his athletic career at Winnacunnet High School. Takes a strike call in the inside corner. Because the Raiders actually have, despite playing all those games on the road, Kevin, they have another road game, I think, coming up right after this one. In Merrimack, then they come home, and Londonderry on the 7th. And then we're going to be here, hopefully we're scheduled to be here next Friday night when Portsmouth comes to town. The track meet on one side, baseball on the other.
Spaulding ended up 4-3 on the road. We talked about them at the beginning of the season, wanting to try to split if they could possibly, starting off with so many games away from Spaulding, and they did a fine job coming back home with a 4-3 mark.
Now Collins behind 3-1 again after getting the first pitch in. It's going to be frustrating for the senior right-hander. He's had these problems before, and now he's down 1-0 with the runner on second. Handball 4. Sullivan goes on. Hanglin's at second. Sullivan at first, and here's the second baseman, Chris Goodwin, a sophomore, the cleanup hitter for the Warriors tonight. Winnacunnet's had a program that has struggled in recent years, but Mike Guile has taken over the summer baseball program down there, Kevin, and trying to put it together, running a 16-18 Babe Ruth baseball program, and feels that has helped the kids become a lot more competitive in the Hampton area.
You need to play the game, and that's what it takes a lot of times. You need to have leagues throughout the summer. Baseball for high schools only last up until the end of school. They go into June a little bit, but after that, you have the whole summer, and you need the kids to get playing into Legion and Babe Ruth baseball.
Some of them have also played in the Exeter Legion program, so they've developed a little bit, and the pitch is low for a ball. So Jim Collins is having trouble getting ahead of the hitters. In the top of the first inning, just underway here at Spaulding Field. Spaulding High School baseball as the pitch went outside for ball 2. 2-0.
Brandon Gullison is up now in the bullpen for Spaulding.
Ground ball back to the mound. Collins wanted to go to third. Panelides had come off the throw to first, and safe as he had hesitated and he threw wide of the home plate side of first base. That's an error, and the bases are loaded with nobody out.
Nice play by Jamie Strayer just to catch the ball from going to the fence and would have allowed a couple of runs to score. Jimmy Collins wanted to go to third. As you see the replay coming up, he got the ball. Didn't feel it totally cleanly, had it in his glove, but Panelides had to be ranging that way to maybe try to make the play if Collins didn't. Forced Collins to go to first, and nice play by Strayer, keeping the ball in play.
So here's David Carlino, batting fifth, the first baseman. Man with a fisherman's hat on during warm-ups. And it's a ball. Carlino in the win over Alverin drove in 6 of the runs with a 2-run homer and a grand slam homer after striking out 3 times and leaving 8 men stranded the game before.
That's bouncing back. You like to see that from a player in the middle part of your order.
He said, what he had done in that previous game, he dipped his shoulder too low, came up, brought it up higher, and obviously that resulted in the 2 long balls. 2-0 is the pitch. Strike call to Carlino.
Fans getting into it now. An applause after that strike call.
Yeah, there's some Winnacunnet fans have come up over there, but there's a sizable amount of fans for Spaulding. A strike called. Because the way some of these games have gone this year, 1-0 doesn't mean anything, but you don't want to get behind 4 or 5-0.
No, Spaulding has their infield in now. They want to try to cut the play off at home, maybe turn 2 going home to first, and they do not want to fall down early.
And Carlino hits the pitch out into center field for a base hit. That's going to deliver 2 runs, and it's going to be 3-0 Winnacunnet. Runners on first and third, as he put it where they weren't that time.
Infield was in. That ball was going to drop anyway, as the outfielders were playing rather deep for Carlino, who has some power. Ball drops in on the outfield grass and allows 2 runs to score.
Well, it's 3-0 for the Winnacunnet Warriors here in the top of the first inning, and head coach Hugo Boland of the Red Raiders going out to have a talk with his pitcher, Jim Collins. And he's going to make the change right now, as Kevin Ford is going to come off the bench, come into the game and take over, and Jim Collins will depart after pitching to 5 batters. And his storyline, his statistical line isn't finished yet, because he's responsible for 2 runners still on base.
Those 2 runners on base, first and third, and responsible by Jim Collins. That's the type of season it has been. He had a fine performance against Dover, but it's either been all or nothing for Jim. He struggled a couple times. Second and third time not getting out of the first inning, but the season's still early. He's going to have to bounce back, because he's a key pitcher for them, and they're really going to need him down the stretch.
Fortunately, he does not pitch any part of an inning. Right now, he's given up 2 walks and 2 hits. There's been an error, which was his throwing error, and he's allowed 3 runs with 2 runners still on base. At the face score will go on his record. So Kevin Ford, who back last Friday against Portsmouth, the 27th, wound up pitching in that 8-1 game, and he was the winning pitcher in that one.
They had the pitching performance they liked against Dover. They lost 1-0, only giving up 1 run when Jim Collins pitched a fine game. They beat Portsmouth 8-1 following that, and then they beat Exeter 4-2. So 4 runs given up in those 3 games, and that's where Hugo Boland liked to see. He liked to see that pitching really holding their opponents down, and then having the bats supply some offense and get some wins on the board after they started out 0-3.
Now Ford's first batter that he'll face will be Kevin Shaw, the senior left fielder. Well, Shaw has a runner on third in Chris Goodwin. And David Carlino, the runner on first. Here in the top of the first inning, and Carlino is going to go down. They don't make a throw. And in our scoring, it is, don't worry, Al, I'm going to bring it up. In our scoring, we'll go stolen base, but in the book it says defensive indifference. Which technically they did not look at him, so I guess you could put that way, but give him a stolen base. DI is what we might want to put in there. Al Pike from Foster's Daily Democrat, the correspondent who's worked with us during the winter. We talked about that last year a lot, because we saw a lot of that in softball and baseball.
So often they just ignore the runner, as you said, Pete, allowing him to get down second base, and that's really a big advancement, going that 1 base. You put 2 runners in scoring position, and a base hit is 2 runs, and if you can have a solid catcher and a lot of confidence in your infield, then you can at least make a throw down there and try to cut it off and get the runner if he tries to go home.
Right, so they take themselves out of the double play and set it up with it looked like a safety squeeze. The throw to the plate, it could have been in time, but it got away from Lancey, and another run comes in. Looked like he could have had that, Kevin.
It was a fine throw. Nice job by Panelides charging the ball and made the throw home. As he tried to apply the tag, he never really had a hold of the ball, and the runner slid into him, knocking it free.
So I guess we can call it a fielder's choice and an error. There's Goodwin comes in.
There you see the replay. Panelides fielding it cleanly. The throw home. Tried to turn and make the tag before he had the ball and scored it away for another run.
Well, here's Alex Kellogg. The seventh batter in the lineup, wearing number 7, the sophomore catcher, as it's a ball.
And there's still no outs.
And this is turning into a very disastrous top half of the first for the Spaulding Red Raiders, and wonderful for the visiting Winnacunnet Warriors. Type of inning for Coach Mike Guile and his troops coming up from Hampton tonight, that they want to get the most out of this because it can give them a lot of confidence with their ace pitcher on the mound, Tim Sullivan.
They've got a 4-run lead so far, 2 runners in scoring position, no one out, and they got their ace on the mound. They have not even been in the field, so you can see them over there all on the top step clapping, and they're really into the game right now, and a lot of confidence in that dugout opposed to Spaulding's.
Now, as you can see, right, as we look at both of them, obviously Red Raiders have to be concerned. It's a 3-0 count on Kellogg. Runners on second and third, nobody out. 4 runs already in here for the Winnacunnet Warriors. This makes for a long game and conserving tape down in the director's booth. Greg Brooks directing tonight. John Rodenhouse, the camera above the plate. And Paul Mannion doing our camera at first base tonight. And a strike called. 3-1. One of the problems, not on that bunt, but has been that the batters have had the count in their favor, or even, and they haven't been getting ahead of them.
No, the Spaulding pitchers have not gotten ahead of the batters. That's what you need to do every time. When you always fall behind the batters, as a walk is drawn by Kellogg, then they can really sit on the fastball. They haven't had a chance to throw anything else besides the fastball. The Spaulding pitchers have had to come right down the middle of the plate every time.
Haven't been able to mix it up, as you said. And here's Jeff McNally, the shortstop. He's a freshman starting for Mike Giles' club. Lost some players from last year, such as Mark Brown, that good catcher. Jeff Garand, first base, a strike called. Jim Collins did get ahead of one batter, 0-1, but then he wound up getting in trouble. I think he wound up walking him. Next 4 pitches. Oh, as a fly hit to Donatello in center, he'll settle under it. And he can't find it. He lost it in the lights. Andy Donatello could not find the ball. And a couple more runs are going to come in. And we're going to have an out, the first out, as the runner strayed too far off second. It's 6-0.
First time playing under the lights for Spaulding. We talked at the beginning of the telecast that Spaulding's used to it, and there Andy Donatello in center field, the ball up in the lights. It was a high fly ball, got above the lights, and that's when the fielders get in trouble. Donatello came in slowly and then clearly showed that he could not see it as it dropped well behind him.
Well, so McNally basically gets a 2-run single lost in the lights, and we're going to have a replay on that.
Ball gets above the lights. Donatello there can't find the ball, then he sees it dropping behind him.
There goes the runner going down to second, and he gets in there, McNally, with another stolen base. Now, you said above the lights, and Andy Donatello, the Raiders center fielder, couldn't find it. The break there was that Kellogg gets tagged out. I believe it was, 6 unassisted, shortstop unassisted for the first out, which is a break for the Raiders. Finally 1 out, but they're down 6-0 here in the top half of the first inning. But you know, as we say sometimes, a strike called, 1-1 the count on Mark Allwood, the third baseman, is that this could be the type of game where Spaulding can come out and get their bats rolling.
They're going to have to now. It's going to change their strategy a bit. If they're not going to be able to move runners around like they might have wanted to, they're just going to have to come out and hit the ball. They're going to have to sit on the Winnacunnet pitchers. The key is to be patient, as we talked about in the last game we did. They fell behind, but they were able to come back. They did not win the game against Bishop Girton, but they were able to come back when they finally lost 9-8.
And a pitch drives him back, and it's 2-2. So it's been a real tough start. So Collins does give up 5 runs in this game. Last 2 of the last 3 that came in were his responsibility. But that was really tough, losing the lights. Now swung on and missed. A throw down to third as McNally was going. He winds up stealing third, but the second out is recorded as Elwood strikes out swinging. And we go back as we got to go up to the top all the way through 1 inning. to Mike Bisbee, the center fielder, who led this inning off. Well, it seems like a long time ago now, doesn't it? With a walk, and he wound up scoring.
So you see the replay, T.J. Lancey double pumped going down to third base, claiming to the umpire afterwards that the bat was in his way.
Here's Bisbee with McNally on third, pitches in the dirt for a ball. We haven't timed this inning, but it's got to be a good 15 to 20-minute inning.
It's been a long inning for Spaulding, and they're just trying to get out of it now. As we've been informed, it's been 22 minutes.
That's a long half inning. A lot of tape and a lot of frustration for the Spaulding Red Raiders. 1-1 the count, because Kevin Ford coming on in relief of Jim Collins, who just ran into several problems with walks and a couple of base hits and a throwing error on part of his own behalf. 6-0. And the pitch in the dirt gets away from T.J. Lancey. Here comes the runner, the throw to the plate. Bounces away from Ford off his glove, and a 7th run comes in. So call that a wild pitch. And it's 7-0, Winnacunnet.
Tough break again. Ball in the dirt on the 0-2 pitch. Bounced up and skidded off the heel of the glove. Lancey gets there in time, but the throw a little high and could not be handled by the pitcher, Kevin Ford.
Well, so we could rule that an error on the catcher, but no matter, the run comes in. 7-0. And the Red Raiders will have that work cut out for them as Mike Bisbee still at the plate with a 2-2 count. Inning that will last about almost half an hour, about 5 minutes shy of that. A half an inning, not even a full inning for Winnacunnet. And a foul back as it goes way above the cameraman above John Rodenhouse. And, oh, boy, we're waiting for that one as Frank Du Bois delayed it just a little bit.
Everyone wanted the strike call on that. Ford heading towards the dugout off the mound. The fans wanting the strike call there, but count goes full on Bisbee.
Obviously, the Warriors want to continue this inning. It's been very productive for them, 7 runs. And ball 4. Ball 4, Bisbee drawing his second walk of the inning. The 11th batter of the inning, and Keith Hanglin, the right fielder, will come up. He singled to center, drove in Bisbee, who stole second in the first inning for that first run long ago.
About 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. This is the type of inning, and it's a good thing Steve Lewis isn't down below. He doesn't love these type of innings. He likes the 3-minute innings.
So does Hugo Bolin when their team's on the field.
And a fly to center. Andy Donatello coming in. Jamie Keefe going out. It'll be caught by Jamie Keefe. And that finally ends it. As for the Winnacunnet Warriors, they came up with 7 runs in that inning. And lead Spaulding after 1/2 inning, 7-0.
New England Pizza and Roast Beef at the Lilac Plaza. Newly renovated and able to serve you even better with careful preparation of the biggest subs in town. And their pizza is well known throughout the city as absolutely the best. New England Pizza and Roast Beef has one of the most extensive menu boards in town, providing not only pizza and subs, but pasta, seafood, chicken, many types of salad, and much more. Come visit or call the newly renovated New England Pizza and Roast Beef at the Lilac Plaza, your neighborhood's family restaurant.
Then we go to the bottom of the first inning, where the Red Raiders finally getting that first turn at bat here at Spaulding Field. Under the lights as it's cool, but for the Warriors it was hot in their dugout as they got 7 runs, and we were just discussing what happened in that inning. Warriors did pick up 3 hits, and consensus up here, there were 3 Spaulding errors, and there was a couple of walks in there.
Spaulding didn't do anything to help their cause in that inning. Only 3 hits by Winnacunnet, and they come up with 7 runs. Spaulding got the ball throwing around in the infield, and couple of mental mistakes, not covering bags, but Winnacunnet got the breaks there, came up with 7 runs, and now Spaulding's got to be patient on the offensive end, and they got to try to battle back.
Okay, so either we'll go with the consensus of 3 errors in there, but those 3, the one hit good looking at was the one that Andy Donatello lost in the lights. That really hurt in that inning, but it wasn't going very well before that.
Nothing they did really helped out, but they had some tough breaks all along. Ground ball looked like they could have had a lead runner out, or maybe a double play. Panelides had to come over and try to back up Collins if he didn't make the play, and they don't even get the out at first.
And here's T.J. Lancey, the catcher, leading it off. Pitches up, and they say he went. Frank Du Bois behind the plate asked Greg Caggiulari, the base umpire, and he said that's a strike. I think the thing is that you have to keep your head in this type of game. You're down 7-0. You've got the only thing you can think of is each turn at bat, you try to get back in it. Can't get it all at once, but you get what you can.
You just got to battle back, try to chip away a couple runs here and there.
It might take hours, but that's fine for the Spaulding Red Raiders side. Because Tim Sullivan, now behind the count 2-1, is not won this year. But I don't think he's ever had a 7-0 lead when he went out to the mound.
He can be a little more comfortable now pitching on the mound. 7-run lead, and he's facing his first batter. That's the type of production you like to see from your teammates.
And the pitch swung on and missed as he broke one off in there, and a throw down to first as they dropped the ball, so the T.J. Lancey strikes out. Leading it off, here's John Panelides, the third baseman. Jamie Keefe, the shortstop, will be the third hitter, and will be followed by Brandon Gullison, the designated hitter. Eric Pinkham in right, Andy Donatello in center, Jamie Strayer at first, Aaron Horn in left, and Jay Wissawater at second.
Panelides has been a strong hitter for Spaulding all along. The last game we did, we saw him go 4 for 4 with 2 doubles, and he's been on top of the ball.
Well, certainly in your first home night game, you hate to get behind so badly, 7-0. As nothing really went right for the Raiders in that first inning.
They didn't record their first out until the 7th batter was up, and actually the 8th batter was up after he singled on the fly ball to center field. Kellogg was forced off at second base, and they really were in a lot of trouble, and it didn't look like it was going to let up anytime soon.
If he hadn't straight off, you don't know what would have happened. It could have been even worse. Pitch strike called. 3 balls and a strike to Panelides with Jamie Keefe on deck. Mike Guile, the head coach of the Warriors, certainly likes having his #1 pitcher on the mound. Grounded to second, 1 hop over to first. 2 down. 2 up, 2 down here in the first inning with Jamie Keefe, the shortstop, coming to the plate. And we're talking about young players. Of course, Jamie Keefe, it seems like he's been around a long time. Which he has. He's got a lot of experience playing this level of baseball.
Only a sophomore at shortstop, played for the team last year as a freshman. He's had a lot of action at this level, also at the Legion level, 16 to 18 years old. He was playing for them when he was 14, and he's been a kid who seems like he's been around for ages, and Still got a couple years left, and will seem like that by the time he's a senior. Everyone will know his name.
Well, they do in Manchester, as the one who scored the winning goal in the hockey championship. That's for sure, and he singles to center.
Now batting number 14, designated hitter, Brandon Gullison. Number 14.
Probably at this point really need a home run or something to get the Raiders back, and we're going to take a
We were going to take
a look. It's all right.
Something, a home run, or you hate to play for the long shot, the 3-run homer, but something like that will generate some enthusiasm in the dugout, and it can get the whole team fired up. And it might take a break or two for the Red Raiders to really get into this, or if they just chip away and then you look up at the scoreboard, you find you're only down by 4 runs, you slice into that lead, then Spaulding will get into it.
Throw to first, back in time, is Keefe. Actually, at this point, they'll take anything just to chip away, as you say, at that lead, and hopefully get the relief pitching. Fouled off way to the right side, out of play. As we got a good camera shot, it's down there somewhere in the darkness.
Stark down the right field line there, as you see the right fielder running in the shadow. Some of the lights are out.
Indeed they are, particularly the one that's direct in straightaway right field. And in fact, there's probably about 3 or 4 of them out. Must be tough. Might be tough out there to find the ball.
In right field, you get a high fly. You'll be battling the lights and shadows.
Throw to first and back in.
Looked like they had that plan to pitch out to the catcher, and he wheels and fires down to first, trying to pick off Keefe. Keefe slides in head first just before the tag is applied.
There goes the runner, the pitch, the throw down. He's going to be in there easily. The ball bounds away, but no harm done, as it is a stolen base for Keefe. And Gullison still at the plate with the count of 2-2. Sullivan's delivery way high for a ball. Count is full at 3-2. But next, this Friday, May the 9th, or May the 11th rather, they have Portsmouth at Spaulding, 7:30 game. Raiders defeated Portsmouth already 8-1. His ball 4 to Gullison. 2 on, 2 out for the Raiders here in the bottom of the inning, bringing up Eric Pinkham, the right fielder.
Spaulding trying to get it going with 2 outs in the first inning. It would be nice now after 2 leadoff outs by Lancey and Panelides if Spaulding can maybe generate a run or 2, then that will get the team back into it.
I'd like to mention that we did the first time we did a game here, but up here in the newly built press box with a nice new counter. It wasn't the first time, and everybody's enjoying the chairs, sort of leaning back and taking this all in. Pitch up high, and Sullivan's starting to develop this I can't get ahead of the batter type of situation.
It's always trouble for the pitchers, and the head coaches hate it when you see the pitchers falling behind the batters. Just allows the batters to sit on the fastball.
An attempted pickoff, the ball bounds away into left center, and the runners move up to second and third.
It looked like they had a chance at Keefe going back into the bag, and the second baseman tried to apply the tag before he had the ball. The ball went into center field, moving both runners up into scoring position.
Well, with Pinkham at the plate and the count in his favor of 2-0, you never know what could happen. Maybe a very long night here at Spaulding Field for you and me and everybody else here, Kevin.
Could be one of those long games, the type Spaulding was in in the first couple of games where both teams scored a lot of runs.
And 2-ball, 1 strike count. Of course, you and I were here last year. Remember when it was raining And Spaulding wound up defeating Dover 12-7. That was a fairly long game. And line drive into left field. That's going to score 1 run. And they're going to hold the runner up at third at 7-1. A solid base hit to left field by Eric Pinkham.
Ball was hit too hard for Gullison to score. It allowed Keefe to come on the RBI single by Pinkham. Gullison had to hold at third, and Spaulding has runners at the corners.
Now batting number 7, Andy Donatello, center fielder. Number 7.
Take another look at this one.
See the line shot going into left field. Left fielder coming on hard, getting it on the first hop. Keefe scores, but Gullison remains at third.
Drops in for a strike to Donatello. Andy Donatello playing center.
See if Spaulding utilizes the first and third situation and has Pinkham go on the pitch.
And a fly going down the right field into foul territory. And it's 0-2.
They did have Pinkham moving on the pitch. He got a late jump with the lefty, having a decent move to first. Donatello swing on the pitch and fouls it off.
And Sullivan probably unhappy right now that he didn't get out of that inning after retiring the first 2 batters. Single walk and a single. Here comes the delivery, hit to the left side. It'll be played and over to first. And that's it. As Mark Elwood throws out Andy Donatello during the first inning for Spaulding, but the Red Raiders get 1 back and trail after 1 complete, 7-1 to Winnacunnet.
They're only being out hit 3-2. Too bad it didn't go by that.
Total for that first inning was, Mr. Director, total for the first inning must have been about 40 minutes.
Greg,
You'll get us in a minute.
they never listen to us, do they?
45 minutes
45 minutes.
for that first inning. Geez, and I've seen it gone 4 innings gone in 45 minutes before. Of course, we've all right. We've seen that. Then we've seen these games that have gone 3 and.
Hello.
All right, Robert.
Hey, nice move, huh?
Yeah, he sprained it in practice.
Spaulding Field is the site as the Winnacunnet Warriors lead the Spaulding Red Raiders 7-1 in Class L baseball here on New England Cablevision Channel 3. I'm Pete Barker along with Kevin Conley. Greg Brooks, director in the truck tonight with John Rodenhouse, the home plate camera position with Paul Mannion at first. And we've got a slew of personalities up here in the press booth as usual. Nice new lighting on this counter. Nice new booth in here, sort of a storage type of thing in back of us. A lot of room.
A nice facility with bathrooms equipped below for the fans watching this event and all other events around this whole stadium.
And the pitch to Tim Sullivan, who walked and eventually scored in the first inning, is a strike from Kevin Ford. And strike 2. Key here now, Kevin, obviously, is this early reliever by Kevin Ford is just to not allow the Warriors any runs, and just on the other side, the Red Raiders chip away.
You got to hold the Winnacunnet Warriors down now. You can't allow them to start scoring runs because you're already down in the hole 7-1.
Sullivan swung at a pitch way inside, and he goes down swinging as hit. Throw him out at first because they dropped the ball, but that's the first out of the inning.
It's the lights.
Oh, what am I? Something keeps going. That, my goodness.
Lights over the third base dugout. Winnacunnet Warriors just one out.
That's almost too many going out because that's a whole bank on this side.
Hugo Boland talked about that before the game. He said the breaker wasn't real strong on that light, and they were going to have to keep turning it on and turning it off to try to keep it from overheating. There you see the lights, and they are not on.
And time has been called by Frank Du Bois, the home plate umpire, and they're going to have to do something with that. They're going to have to get that on because You cannot see, and we're going to probably have a delay here, I would think.
Joking about turning the pole around, the lights on the other side work, but I don't see any volunteers climbing the pole.
I don't know. I thought Al Pike might go out there, but I guess he didn't want to. Somebody offers him a $500 bill or something, if there was such a thing, he might.
Too bad the moon wasn't quite strong enough. We have a half moon out there, but that's not going to light the field enough. And it's been a different night, a strange night for Spaulding on their first night game. They've had some problems on the field and with the lights so far. This is the type of night where it's cooling off now. You like to see your players stay loose, especially your pitchers. Kevin Ford came into the game in relief, and you hate to have him, after warming up, let his arm go stiff. You can really get a sore arm from that, and the players gathering around the mound now, talking things over. I wonder if they could have any type of light out, like a rain out, and have to start the game over some other time. It'd be a break for Spaulding maybe at this point, but they'll wait and try to get the lights back on.
Well, obviously, Mike Guile and Winnacunnet is concerned about that, because that would wash out everything he's done. I mean, not wash it out, but wipe it out, literally. That would be a shame, really, to have a game called because of a power failure. But I've seen these problems with lights before, and I guess they're just going to have to take a delay here while they try to get it on. And if you're listening downstairs in the booth, why don't we take a break right here and say we'll be back with more Spaulding baseball in a moment. This is wasting the tape, Greg. Right, okay, no problem. I'll just do it that way if there's a problem. There's no sense wasting the tape with the way this thing's going to go.
I know.
How are you, Mr.
Good, you? Yeah, the lights blew up there. Well, went out. I guess they got to shut them off and let them cool down.
Nard's TV and Appliance Store, 74 High Street in Somersworth, carries a complete line of GE appliances and video products. Nard's is well known for TVs, all sizes and styles, from the most economical to the large screen, plus the latest in VCR equipment and cameras. Refrigerators designed for today's kitchen, one that's just right for you. And Nard's has a large selection of ranges, GE built and GE dependable. Come in and see what outstanding buys are available. And remember that Nard's services what they sell. Nard's TV and Appliance Store, 74 High Street in Somersworth.
Yeah. Well, after about a 15-minute delay or so to get the light pole squared away, we're back in business here at Spaulding Field as the Red Raiders trailing 7-1 to the Winnacunnet Warriors in the top of the second inning. With Chris Goodwin, the second baseman, will be the batter against Kevin Ford. Tim Sullivan struck out to lead off the inning. Took 30 minutes to play the first half inning when Winnacunnet scored all 7 runs, and about 45 minutes to play the entire inning. So if it continues in any manner like this, it's going to be a long, long night.
Then a nice 15-minute delay. They had to let the lights cool down as they had to keep them off for 15 minutes, and now Spaulding takes the field again with one out in the second inning, looking to get out of this inning and maybe score some runs of their own.
Here's Goodwin, the second baseman, who reached on a throwing error by the starting pitcher for Spaulding, Jim Collins, in the first, and eventually scored.
Now batting number 6, Kurt Goodwin, second baseman.
Eventually wound up scoring on an error by the catcher. They on a throw to the plate that was dropped on a bunt, squeeze bunt to the left side. A strike call. Boy, does it make a difference when that pole is fixed.
They had a nice dark shadow across home plate in the pitcher's mound. No way to play with that light out.
Pitch goes down low. 1-1 the count on Goodwin. So Kevin Ford trying to be the long reliever for the Red Raiders. And that's going to be fouled off and out of play to the right side.
When the numbers are recorded after, it's going to look like he was the starter, as Jim Collins did not pitch an inning in the books. That's how it's presented, did not get any outs. So officially he had no innings pitched.
Gave up 5 runs, 2 hits, and a couple of walks. Strike 3 called. Boy, he dropped that one in on the inside part of the plate.
He got Goodwin to buckle a little bit. All he did was drop his bat and just nipped the inside part of the corner, and Ford records his second strikeout of the inning, 3rd overall.
Here's David Carlino, who got a 2-run single to center in the first inning. David Carlino, the first baseman, a senior for Mike Guile and his Winnacunnet Warriors, who have come here looking for win number 3. Strike call. But you get the feeling, like we talked about in the first game, that 9-8, that this is far from over. Just
Spaulding has a lot of bats, and they can really hit the ball. They can get in streaks, and they can have a big inning of their own. They've shown this season that they can score a lot of runs, and once they get the bats together and group the hits, they can put some runs across the plate.
Here's the 1-1 delivery. Too low, 2-1. That previous pitch, when it was 1-0, 0-1 rather, the fans wanted that pitch. Of course, the crowd noise for us is pretty good. We pick it up. Crowd mic, and strike 2 called. Class L baseball here at Spaulding Field, Spaulding Red Raider baseball. We've got 4 more regular season games scheduled beyond this one. For you here on Channel 3, New England Cablevision. No, and they had to see whether he, again, had to go to Greg Cadulary, the first base umpire, the base umpire, rather.
Ford likes that 2-strike curveball. He threw a nice breaking ball there, went in the dirt, and they tried to see if Carlino maybe went around with a check swing, but no call.
Inside corner, strike 3 called. So 3 up and 3 down on strikeouts for Winnacunnet here in the top of the 2nd inning. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. Winnacunnet leads Spaulding 7-1.
Looking to buy or rent a home that combines city elegance and convenience with the unhurried pace of the country? Brook Farm Village Condominiums in Rochester has it. Spacious, bright living areas, modern appliances, and efficient design, all framed by 20 rolling acres, perfect for active recreation or just relaxing. Brook Farm Village is open weekdays from noon to 6 p.m., so stop in or call 335-3008 for an appointment. Marketed exclusively by Executive Properties, Rochester, New Hampshire.
Bottom of the 2nd inning here at Spaulding Field, with the Spaulding Red Raiders trailing 7-1 to Winnacunnet. And Jamie Strayer, the first baseman, leading it off for the Red Raiders, as he'll be batting against Tim Sullivan, the senior left-hander for the Warriors. And fouls it off down the 3rd base side.
He jumped on the inside fastball there, got it off the handle, and really nailed it down the 3rd baseline, and fouled by a substantial amount.
Delivery down low and in the dirt. 1-1 the count. Strayer, Aaron Horn, and Jay Wizarwadi. Horn in left field, Wizarwadi at 2nd. The bottom of the Spaulding order facing Sullivan. As the Red Raiders try to climb back in, swung on and fouled back to the screen for a strike.
We'll see if the delay has any effect on Tim Sullivan, the pitcher for Winnacunnet. He had a long delay in the 1st inning as well when his team put 7 runs on the board.
And a fly ball hit to right field. Right fielder going back. He's circling. He can't find it. And it gets in back of him. And Strayer's going to easily go to 3rd base. Easily, and pull in with a stand-up triple. As the right fielder for Winnacunnet, Keith Hanglin. Keith Hanglin never the same thing had happened, I think, to Andy Donatello. Instead of never could spot that ball up there, and it fell in back of him and rolled to the fence.
We talked about the lights out in right field, really dark out there. The ball was hit slicing away from Hanglin, and he got turned around, never really found the ball up in the air, and that allowed Strayer to go into third base with a stand-up triple.
And here's Aaron Horn, the Red Raiders left fielder. Pitch inside. So if the Raiders can just keep stirring things now and then, and guess what happened? The lights just went out again on the third base pole, and we're going to have to call time again, and this could get very serious.
I think the umpires are going to have a discussion here. They might talk about this and see if it's a 15-minute delay. They're going to ask the third baseman now how difficult it is for him to see. Sure, if Spaulding is on the field, they might say it's a little more difficult trailing now, but they've got a little momentum going with a leadoff triple. Home plate umpire Frank Dubois looks like he's questioning if they can play or not with the light out.
I certainly, from our angle, it certainly wouldn't appear that they should or could. And, you know, they're going to have to hopefully be able to get some more time in. There's a delay going on right here, and I guess we're going to have to, okay, let's take a look at the, hopefully take another look at that play in right field. As there you see Frank Dubois, the home plate umpire.
Tim Sullivan keeping loose on the mound now, throwing some pitches, and the umpires are having a discussion. As you see the replay, Hanglin almost made the catch there. It looked like it just went over his glove as he got turned around, and you can see it's dark out there in right field. Strayer easily into third base. That's where he stands now, and the umpire's having a discussion about what to do, whether to keep the game going now or to delay it.
I'm sure they'd like to get it in, if at all possible. Where the trouble is, we're only in the bottom of the second inning. You'd have to go through 5, I believe, and that's a long way from now, the way things are going. Of course, we picked up, and obviously Mike Guile of Winnacunnet has to be concerned. He'd come up here, and they'd have to start the thing all over again if it were to be. But I think Frank Dubois and Greg Cadgiller will do everything possible to make sure this game gets in, but it's going to be the that pole.
It's out of their control now.
It really is.
Just a matter of if they determine they think they can play or not. It's not totally fair for the batters or the pitchers or whoever it might affect, but they're going to have to question whether or not to play without the lights, or if it's going to keep delaying every inning, then it's going to kind of be useless to have a 15-minute delay. You know, really go too late for everyone here.
Well, the Winnacunnet play hasn't not come in yet. And they're going to have it looks like they may have a slight delay at this point, but let's take a break right here with the score. Winnacunnet 7 and Spaulding 1.
You caught it again.
The whole group here is just great. You feel like you're coming into the family, not just a dealership. You don't have to hassle with them. You know you're getting the best possible deal. And I guess the best thing is the service department afterwards, you know your car is going to be taken care of.
But we had General Motors cars for many years, and we were unhappy with them, so we went to the Chrysler Corporation. And I love my car. Yes, I would definitely recommend Tri-City Dodge to my friends.
I would recommend Tri-City to anybody.
Find out why so many people in the area recommend Tri-City Dodge, honored with the 5-star Quality Service Award from Chrysler. Tri-City Dodge, Route 16 in Somersworth.
Okay. Well, after another light delay, Kevin, as it's after 9 o'clock here, we're only in the bottom of the second inning. We wonder how long this is going to last here. Hopefully, we can get this game in, but we never know when it's going to get in.
Apparently, they changed the breakers this time, so it won't be a matter of a weak breaker shutting the lights off. They have a new breaker in there. And that should keep the lights on now hopefully we can get underway. None of this start, stop stuff. Spaulding had somewhat of the momentum as Kevin Ford struck out the side in the second inning, and Jamie Strayer led off the bottom the second with a triple.
It was poor Tim Sullivan, I guess, well, he's leading 7-1, but his momentum has been stopped with that 7-run inning and then 2 light delays. And he really, actually Sullivan's given up 3 hits, with the last one being that one to Jamie Strayer over on third. But the right fielder almost caught that triple, and Aaron Horn will be up. So here again, as long as the lights stay on and things can go, the Raiders have hope. For Winnacunnet's side, Mike Guile and his Warriors, fairly young team, certainly would hope to keep this lead with their ace on the mound. But it seems these games this year, they're either the close games where both teams are in the low numbers, or else they're 12-10 games. So you don't know. Right now, this 7-1 lead doesn't loom that large here in the second inning.
No, it's still early in the game at least, and Spaulding has a chance to get back into this game.
Swing and a miss by Horn. 2 balls, 1 strike the count on Aaron Horn. With Jay Wizzawati, the on-deck batter for the Spaulding Red Raiders. Delivery fouled off over the fence to the right side. Now with 2-2, nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning. It's taken a long time because the game started late as it was, because a long JV game previous, which Spaulding won by a wide margin. And a pitch bounces in the dirt. Strayer doesn't come off third base.
Nice job staying in front of that ball. Ball got in the dirt, and Kellogg shifted his body to the outside part of the plate to save the run, as Strayer was on third base and could not advance.
It was Kellogg replacing Mark Brown, who was an excellent catcher for the Winnacunnet Warriors for the last 3 years, I believe it was. Swing and a miss as Horn goes down on strikeouts. That'll bring up Jay Wizzawati with 1 out and the runner on third. I think it doesn't matter how many runs you get in this inning, as long as you get that runner in from third, Kevin. That's all you really want to do right now.
You hate to leave a runner on third, especially with no outs and he's on third and trailing in this game. You really need to get every possible runner across.
Pitch by Sullivan is high. Here's his 1-0 delivery. Down low for a ball. Sullivan has had some trouble staying ahead of the hitters after getting the first 2 in the game out on a strikeout and a ground out to second. And the delivery up high, ball 3. 3-0 to Wizzawati with TJ Lancey, the on-deck hitter. Hitting wise, as you said, the teams are even now, aren't they?
3 hits apiece for each team.
Inside for ball 4. Now you can, I don't know if you want to play any games like this, like sending the runner down this early, but then again, you've got a sophomore catcher behind the plate.
You hate to have the runner thrown out, stealing second base, and that's one of the disadvantages when you're down so much. You really can't do a lot of running and hitting, running and bunting, moving people along. You have to try to hit the ball and see if you can get people around that way. But with runners at first and third, and a lot of times teams do not go after the out as a runner tries to steal second base. They might have something happen.
Chip. Strike called. Sullivan throw to first. Back safe by a wide margin is Wizzawati. And we got John Panalides, the on-deck hitter. Pitch to Lancey, way high and outside for a ball. Looks like a long night here at Spaulding Field. And the pitch swings and misses. Good breaking pitch in the outside corner.
Kept it away from Lancey, and Lancey really never got outside and reached the pitch, so he got called for strike 2.
Sullivan has shown the ability to throw the ball at different locations.
Well, that's when you get good pitches, especially at the high school level. They can really pick their locations, and the pitchers who stay ahead of the hitters and can change speeds a lot are the ones that are real successful.
Well, the Raiders with a good opportunity here, even though Lancey down in the count 1-2, trailing 7-1. And the pitch fouled off to the right and out of play into the parking lot. Count remains at 1-2.
They got a good part of their order up, and Lancey, the leadoff batter, Panalides, one of their top hitters, and Keefe, top 3 batters if they can get some people around, and a chance for them to get up.
Let it go for strike 3 called. So Lancey is down in the second inning on a called strike.
Sullivan came with the big breaking ball, starting it outside, slid it on the outside corner, and Lancey could not pull the trigger on that one.
2 out. Runners at first and third for the Red Raiders here in the bottom of the second as they trail the Winnacunnet Warriors of Hampton 7-1. Goes outside for a ball. Sullivan going back to first to keep the runner close again. We said the Raiders need to chip away. Back to first again. This is a soft throw. After a leadoff triple, they haven't been able to get him in. Jamie Strayer at third. Sullivan's pitch and opposite field, and it's foul. Just foul down the third baseline.
Panalides looking to get a CNI single there. That might have been some extra bases. Strayer would have scored, would have got the run across that way, but slicing away from the left-handed hitter, and it just went foul down the left field line.
Third base coach Jay Wizawati was hoping to push it in, as Dave Henderson supposedly did on Dwight Evans' double the other day, kiddingly saying the one that bounced into the bullpen. But Panalides has a tendency to go to the opposite field.
He really utilizes the whole field. He likes to spray the ball around, and he'll go with the pitch wherever it's located.
Sullivan's delivery goes outside. The runner going down to second. Cut the throw off. There was almost got in a nice backup. Nice backup by Chris Goodwin down there, the second baseman, as that ball got into center field. Strayer scores. And they did it the right thing. The shortstop came in, McNally, and they cut the throw off, but unfortunately it almost got away from him. It did get away from him, and good backup.
That's why coaches don't like to play games in the first and third situation. There you saw it. It almost went into center field, and it allows one runner to score, and would have allowed Wizawati to take third, maybe score if it went in between the outfielders, and the coaches would rather have the catcher just hang on to the ball.
Pitch, strike called. Came in not too low, right around the shoulders on that. And it's 2-2 to Panalides. Sullivan will probably try to give him his best right now on the 2-2 delivery. And he does, as he gets a strike 3 swinging, and that's it. As the Raiders do not score in that inning, they leave 2 after 2 complete. Winnacunnet 7, Spaulding 1.
Kearney Drug Company in downtown Rochester. First with computerized prescription service. First with blood pressure clinics and hearing tests. And now first with blood cholesterol screenings. Come in and see what we mean by a full-service pharmacy. Aisle after aisle of the most competitive prices around. Plus, the cosmetic department is the largest in the city. And say hello to Bill and Jan Keefe, independent owners and dedicated supporters of the city for over 2 decades. For fast, reliable, and friendly service, it's Kearney Drug Company in downtown Rochester.
We've reached the top half of the 3rd inning with Winnacunnet leading Spaulding 7-1. Kevin Shaw, the left fielder, catcher Alex Kellogg, and shortstop Jeff McNally will face Kevin Ford. As Winnacunnet, Kevin, obviously 7 runs in the 1st inning. The Raiders had the opportunity to chip away even further in the bottom. The 2nd couldn't do it, but it's got to give a visiting team a big lift just to get ahead that much, and with your ace pitcher on the mound.
Oh, it certainly does, and for Spaulding, they needed to really get some runs across that inning. When you start the inning off with a leadoff triple, you have to find a way to get that runners across the plate. They just didn't have the bats going in that inning, and they left 2 runners in scoring position, and down by 6 runs. That's really going to come back to haunt them.
Winnacunnet at 2-4. Having dropped their last 2 games, 3-2 to Exeter and 10-8 to Dover, both on the road after a 7-6 win in the bottom of the 7th inning over Alvern High of Hudson. Kevin Shaw reached on a fielder's choice in the 1st inning and wound up eventually scoring one of the 7 runs that the Warriors put across. Ford's pitch is inside. Ford has come on since then. He actually has allowed 2 runs, but other than that
he has 4 strikeouts and possible of 6 out opportunities as well. So he's been right around the plate. He came in and walked walked 2 batters actually, and had a little bit of a struggle finding the plate, but once he settled down in that 2nd inning, he struck out the side, and he's looked strong.
swing and a miss by Shaw. 1-2 the count in Kevin Ford's favor. Shaw, Kellogg, and McNally. First 3 to face Ford, and here in the top of the 3rd inning. And swing and a miss, strike 3. That breaking pitch, it's like Shaw sort of bailed out on it.
4 in a row, retired by the strikeout now for Ford.
Now batting number 7,
Kellogg walked in the 1st inning.
7, Kellogg.
And he went to 2nd on a single to center by McNally that Andy Donatello lost in the lights, but then straight too far off 2nd and was tagged out by the shortstop, Jamie Keefe, for the first out of that inning.
He wanted to go to 3rd, and a nice play by Keefe, running him down and getting the out, because there were no outs at that point and really no sight of the inning ending. And when you get an out like that, it can slow down the momentum, and with 1 out, Spaulding retired a couple more after that and got out of the inning with 7 runs against them.
Swing and a miss on an inside pitch, 1-2. So Ford getting ahead of the hitters. Kellogg batting from the left side. Here's the delivery, and it's hit high in the air to right field. Pinkham is spotting it under it. Out number 2.
All the fly balls to the outfield now are a bit of a challenge, with the lights out there in right field being dim, and just the first time playing under the lights. Each outfielder could have some trouble with the fly balls, and so everyone a little tentative when the ball goes out there, not the usual can of corn that is on a lazy fly ball.
Of course, the Red Raiders did play at Bishop Girton under the lights in that game, but of course the lighting in Nashua a different type and brighter, I believe, here than Spaulding Field.
Number 1, McNally.
But it's still tough to get adjusted to your home field when you haven't played in it. Probably tough anywhere, I would assume, getting adjusted under the lights.
It can take some if you've never played under them, it can take a while once the ball gets above the lights, and that's when it's tough to see. Then it drops back in the lights. By then it can be too late, as it was with Donatello in center field, but it takes quite a few games to get used to the lights. Spaulding will have a decent amount of games under the lights, and by the end of the season it will be a regular occurrence.
McNally down the count 1-2. Here's the pitch up high. McNally drove in 2 runs on that single, as we said, that was lost in the lights in center field. He swings and misses for strike 3, does McNally, and that's the end of the inning. 1-2-3 as we go to the bottom of the third. Winnacunnet 7, Spaulding 1.
The Route 16 Carpet Center invites you into their brand new showroom on the Milton Road with hundreds of rolls of vinyl and carpet in stock. And all stock is at discount prices featuring famous brand names in carpet such as Designers Gallery, Horizon, Salem, Ozite, and Key Collection. And carpet remnants are additionally discounted for a 30 to 60% savings. The Route 16 Carpet Center features Mannington Gallery of Floors, the best in vinyl linoleum and tile, with rolls of in-stock specials to choose from, plus a full array of ceramic tile for your kitchen or bathroom. For the best in brand names at discount prices, come in and say hello to Bob or Ernie 6 days a week at the Route 16 Carpet Center.
Scary when you play like we did top of the first inning.
Bottom of the third inning here at Spaulding Field, with the Red Raiders still trailing Winnacunnet by a score of 7-1. Jamie Keefe is going to lead it off, the shortstop for Spaulding. Singled in the first inning and scored.
Bottom of the third inning, leading off for Spaulding is number 8.
Scored the Raiders' only run,
Number 8,
which came from a base hit off the bat of Eric Pinkham. Brandon Gullison, the designated hitter, on deck. Here's Sullivan's delivery. Comes inside for a strike called. Need a spark somewhere offensively. They're getting it defensively now.
Fords come in and shut the door on this Winnacunnet team, and now the bats need to get going. They need to pick up some runs. They're down 6 runs. They get a couple here, and before you know it, you're only down 4 or 3 runs, and then you're right back into the ball game.
What they've got to do it first is on that check swing. It's 0-2. Sullivan's delivery inside corner, strike 3 called. Well, Sullivan can afford to set up a hitter and come in with a decent breaking pitch. And the Spaulding hitters, they get down in the hole, they got to protect the plate, so it's tough sometimes. They're going to get fooled.
That's what happens when you get a pitcher who can really pick his location. Sullivan gets ahead of the batter there, 0-2, comes inside on Keefe, and Keefe looking for something away, got handcuffed and could not come around with the bat.
Here's Brandon Gullison. Gullison 0 for 1 tonight.
Trying to connect with that big breaking ball, a nice slow pitch that Sullivan really pulled the string on. Had Gullison way out in front of that pitch, and 1-1, the count is even.
And 1-2. The bottom of the third inning is the Raiders trailing at 7-1. Winnacunnet scored its 7 runs in the first. Raiders came back with 1 in the bottom. It's just low.
Coming with the changeup again, Sullivan keeping the batters really out in front and on their toes with the different pitches, really mixing up his speeds well and also his different pitches that he uses.
Oh, it's way outside. And the Delivery, strike 3 called.
Sullivan being every bit as tough as Ford is. Now he's struck out 4 in a row. 5 out of the last 6 batters.
7 total. Or should we say 6 total? 6 total, I guess.
6 for each pitcher so far. Ford has struck out 6, and Sullivan now has 6 strikeouts.
And here's Eric Pinkham, who drove in Keefe with a single to left, a line single left in the first inning. Since then, the Raiders have not done too much. He did have 2 on in the second inning and lifted toward the right field line, coming over for it. Cannot get it, gets away, going into second, and he looked back, the runner, and he's going to go into third, Pinkham, and that's going to be another triple for the Raiders. So Keith Hanglin having his problems in right field.
We talked about the shadows again. Hanglin had a long run for that ball, tried to make the diving catch. When he could not come up with it, it got by him, and a little mix-up there as Pinkham stopped on second base, turned to find the ball instead of the third base coach, and then he moved on to third once he saw the ball was out to the fence. With 2 outs, they really need to get this run across here. They can't strand another runner as they have in the first couple of innings. Here you see the replay, and Pinkham got the ball in the middle of the plate, lofted it to right field. A long run for Hanglin. He tried to make the diving catch, and it got by him and allowed Pinkham to go to third base.
Jamie Strayer at the plate. He wound up with tricks, and Andy Donatello is the batter. He swings and misses. Donatello grounded to third back in the first inning. Swing and a miss again. It looked like almost the same pitch that Sullivan threw.
Threw the breaking ball again, and Donatello was on top of that. Sullivan once again ahead in the count 0-2, and that's when he's really had the Spaulding bat is off balance, coming with a variety of pitches.
Now, and high fastball, swing and a miss, strike 3. That's it. The Raiders strand another runner on third base. And after 3 complete innings, it's still Winnacunnet 7, Spaulding 1.
B&L Variety Store, located on Main Street near the Sacred Heart Church, is very much an important and necessary part of Milton. Many shelves filled with convenience items. The giant coolers stocked full of all kinds of beverages and beer, milk and juices. The deli area that features fresh, ready-made sandwiches or made-to-order slices. And of course, the friendly, personable service offering hot coffee, megabucks, or just a morning cheer. It's B&L Variety Store, located on Main Street in Milton.
We are coming to the top of the 4th inning here at Spaulding Field, with Spaulding trailing at 7-1 to the Winnacunnet Warriors in Class L baseball. I'm Pete Barker, along with Kevin Conley. As we were just saying, Kevin, the pitchers suddenly have taken over the ball game after that first inning when all 8 runs in this game were scored.
First inning was the key, and unfortunately, Winnacunnet had 7 of those 8 runs, and now the pitchers have really settled down. Ford came in and doing a fantastic job in relief, long relief as we have tabbed it. Even though in the books it'll look like he's recorded all the outs so far, which he has. And on the other hand, Tim Sullivan, after the first inning where he struggled a little bit, he's given up a pair of triples, but he's really been on top of his game and kept the Spaulding batters off balance with a variety of pitches and speeds.
Okay, Dan Melican, a junior, will be batting for Mark Allwood, the senior third baseman. And Melican most likely will go in to play third. So Melican leading it off against Kevin Ford.
Yeah, he did lose him on. He had a couple.
Kevin Ford, the senior, has done quite well, obviously in relief, striking out 6. Pitch inside to Milliken. Done what he needed to do. The Raiders still have 4 at-bats to try to overcome this 7-1 deficit. Pitch inside again to Milliken. On-deck hitter is the center fielder, Mike Bisbee.
Ford keeping Milliken away from the inside part of the plate, setting him up with a couple of fastballs inside, see if he goes away now.
Ground ball to short, and Keefe never went down on it. Error at short.
Hit the ball hard right on the nose as Ford did go outside with the pitch, and Keefe only had to range a couple of steps, but had a high first hop, got caught in between hops, and his glove was up while the ball stayed on the ground. There you see the shot, and Keefe never really got down on a nice hustle by Donatello, moving over and cutting the ball off before it could go to the fence.
Here's Mike Bisbee, the center fielder, walked and scored in the first. Walked in the, actually he walked twice in the first inning. First time he scored, second time did not. Like they were trying to catch the runner going the wrong way.
Winnacunnet had squared around there with Bisbee. Looked like he was going to try to sacrifice the runner over to second, and the whole infield for Spaulding was moving around. Looks like Winnacunnet wants to get another run across.
And trying to bunt again, foul. They didn't, so it's a 1-1 count.
Down the first baseline, nice job by Strayer letting the ball go foul, then picking it up quickly.
Keith Hanglin, the on-deck hitter. The scheduled on-deck hitter is Bisbee still at the plate with a 1-1. I think Mike Guile, the head coach of the Warriors, in his 4th year would play for every run he could get now if he could sacrifice around and just pick up a couple of extra runs.
That's what he's doing. He's looking just to add to that lead. They got a 6-run lead, and he knows now every run is going to be that much tougher and really take out more momentum from Spaulding. So he's looking to sacrifice a runner into scoring position and then try to get him home on a hit.
Now here's the bunt down the first base line. Is going to be successful. As Wizzawati comes over to take the throw from Strayer, so the sacrifice works.
A long run for Wizzawati, playing close to the bag at second and had a long run. Looked like he should have been shaded a little more to first, knowing the bunt was coming down.
Sacrifice for Mike Bisbee brings up the right fielder, Keith Hanglin. Singled in a run in the first, popped a shot later on in that same inning. Bisbee and Hanglin, the two batters that were up twice in the first inning. Pitch goes low for a ball. Reached the top of the 4th. These last 2.5 innings or so have gone right by. Compared to that first inning, took a total of 45 minutes, and with the 2 delays of the light pole in back of the Winnacunnet dugout before a new breaker was put in, sort of delayed matters, and that's why we're here in the 4th inning. Not halfway through the ball game yet. Ball and a strike to Hanglin. Pitch high and outside. Tim Sullivan, the pitcher, the on-deck batter for Winnacunnet. 2-4 Warriors against the 4-4 Spaulding Red Raiders. Swing and a miss. That's one thing a lot of hitters do, and of course it takes years, even some of the major leaguers do it. You just sort of don't stay right in the box. You look like you just sort of bail out of there, Kevin, and that's why you don't get a good swing at the ball.
A lot of times you don't even get to reach the ball. You pull your foot out if you're a left-handed batter, pulling it towards the first base bag. If you're a righty, you pull it towards third base bag and get to step right back up the middle and get the good part of the bat on the ball. When you're really stepping in the bucket like that, you have no chance to go to the opposite field with it.
Count is full. The pitch hit out into left center field, but he's going for it, and it's going to be grabbed by Aaron Horn out there. Runner will move from second to third. And the throw away, but was backed up by Ford, the way a pitcher should. He was right there backing up the throw from Horn in left center.
Moved right on the hit. He knew where he was supposed to go. Ford backing up the base. A lot of times you'll see him just run behind the base. There he positioned himself farther enough away from the bag and at the right angle, so if it did get by, he could make the play as he did there, and he saved a run.
Sullivan, the pitcher, walked and scored in the first, struck out swinging in the second. Right back through the middle, it's 8-1 Winnacunnet. Sullivan wasted little time as he had a line drive over Ford's head and just curved away into center field. Important run for the Warriors right there.
There, the sacrifice comes in handy. They got him to second base. A sacrifice fly moves him over to third, and then you see the line drive right up the middle by the pitcher. Sullivan helps out his cause.
All right, and coming up is Chris Goodwin, the second baseman. Reached on an error in the first and scored. Called strike in the second inning. It'll be frustrating that the release job that Ford had done, where the Raiders had a chance to climb back within 3 or 4 runs and couldn't get any runners home, and now Winnacunnet goes up 8-1.
They got the runner in scoring position and scored him. With 2 outs, they had a runner on third and got a big hit. Spaulding was not able to do the same in their at-bats, but they still have plenty of time to come back in this ball game.
Delivery hit onto the left side. Keefe over in the hole, gets it, throws to second. They retire the runner. 6-40 in the inning, but Winnacunnet comes up with 1 more run halfway through the ball game after 3.5. Winnacunnet 8, Spaulding 1.
There are several good reasons why Flanagan's Restaurant at the Tri-City Plaza in Somersworth is so popular. First and foremost is the food. Delicious, fresh, cooked to order, and plenty of it. Second is the service. Courteous waitresses always there to serve you and always with a smile. And last but not least, their prices can't be beat anywhere in the area. That's why they have so many regulars for lunch and dinner. Open 7 days a week, it's everyone's choice for a casual treat. Flanagan's Restaurant, Tri-City Plaza, Somersworth.
Going to the bottom of the 4th inning, and we have some changes. Roger Kelly, a junior left-hander, is going to pitch, so a left-hander replaces a left-hander. He's going to pitch, and Tim Sullivan goes out into left field. Dan Melican is now catching. So we've got Kelly is now pitching as that famous new pitching rule, Kevin, I think is what Mike Guile is trying to work around with.
Trying to save his pitcher for upcoming games, possibly, but hate to find yourself yank the pitcher and change horses in midstream and find yourself fall behind or have the other team get back into the ball game. Spaulding now has a new pitcher in there. They can be patient, make him work around. He has not been in the game, and Sullivan had really settled down and was pitching nicely, had the Spaulding batters off balance. Now it's going to be up to Roger Kelly to see if he can do the same.
Well, we've got a new third baseman for Winnacunnet. I believe Kevin Shaw is probably out of the ball game because he was in left field. Sullivan went into left field. And the changes are coming. From Frank Du Bois down below. He's giving us the change. We'll see if we can pick him up.
I'll pick
Kelly takes his spot. Shaw moved to right.
Yeah, I know that.
Sullivan's in left, and Melican's behind the plate.
But, what's his name?
I think that
Okay, as we're picking it up, Kevin Shaw is now in right field. Tim Sullivan is in left field. Dan Melican is catching. Roger Kelly takes the place of Keith Hanglin, who was in right field and in the lineup.
Okay, Shaw went to right.
And he'll face Jamie Strayer.
Bottom of the fourth inning, leading off for Spaulding, number 17, Jamie Strayer.
Strayer, Horn, and Wisawati
17.
facing this new battery.
Strayer tripled last time up to right field and allowed him to go to third base, but he was stranded there back in the second inning by Spaulding, a leadoff triple, and they did not utilize that, leaving him on base.
So Roger Kelly, a junior, the new pitcher. I think the Raiders will have to be patient with him. Does not throw, I believe, as hard as Sullivan. Foul. And of course, we were speculating about the pitching rule. Of course, the cold could also be affecting Sullivan too. He did throw a lot of pitches in 3 innings, even though he was effective. He did throw a lot of pitches.
He also had a lot of breaks in between, which you can play with the pitcher's arm. He came in and, well, first of all, after warming up, had a long layoff with a 30-minute first half an inning by the Winnacunnet Warriors. Then as he was pitching, at a 15-minute delay, and then another delay later on in the game.
Ground ball slowly to shortstop. Coming in McNally, the throw to first, and he got him.
Nice play by a freshman at shortstop, and McNally did the only thing he possibly could, charged the ball hard and made the throw on the run.
There's Aaron Horn, the left fielder. Strayer now 1 for 2 in the game. Horn struck out in the second inning.
You see the hit by Strayer and McNally charging the ball hard. Fielded in front of himself, had a couple of steps to set, but still made that strong throw on the run to get Strayer.
Well, definitely a fine play by a freshman. Got to have those. So many times when a play is not made like that, it sets up a decent inning. Might have been not quite routine, but you need to make those plays.
Oh, you certainly do. He plays fairly deep in the shortstop position. Most balls you need to charge. That one he came on a little harder and made the play.
Here's Aaron Horn, as we said, at the plate. Steps back in after calling time. And here's Kelly's delivery. Strike call. Seen Kelly once this season. Got a win over Alvern. And is able to throw strikes. As we can see right now. It'll be tough on the Red Raider hitters. They're trailing 8-1 in the 4th inning. They've had a couple runners on, but they haven't really hit the ball that well. A couple of triples. It might have been caught in right field. And then a swing and a miss. A throw down to first as the ball was dropped. So a strikeout, the first for Kelly, who took over here in the 4th inning. And it'll bring up Jay Wisawati, who walked in the 2nd inning, but was left stranded. As the Red Raiders in their first night home game of the season, they lost their first game 9-8 to Bishop Girton before coming back and defeating Girton less than a week later by a score of 6-4 over there at Nashua, Holman Stadium in Nashua. And the pitch just inside for a ball. Fouled off. So right now the Red Raiders offense isn't producing anything. Since that first inning, Pinkham singled in a run. They've had 2 hits, which were triples, one of them that might have been caught. Maybe the other one could have been, Kevin. So there were fly balls to right field. that the right fielder had a problem getting to. Or
Anglin had some trouble out there with the balls. Both batters got to third base, but could not advance home, and score remained 1 run for Spaulding. But right now, Kelly starting off with Sullivan left off, getting ahead of the batters.
Ground ball back up through the middle. Here comes McNally, bobbles it, won't be able to make the play. So rule that a base hit.
Two outs. Spaulding's got a runner on base now with Winnacunnet, but they have not had much luck with 2 outs.
And T.J. Lancey coming to the plate. So we'll give Winnacunnet, I guess we could agree whether worried about it. It was a little bit tough play for McNally to get to over the middle, and
had a long range. A question of whether he could have made the throw in time or not.
Throw to first by Kelly, and it gets away from the first baseman Carlino. An error on Kelly as Winnacunnet goes to second. Well, Winnacunet's on second with Lancey at the plate.
Now batting number 15, T.J. Lancey, catcher. Number 13, Lancey.
Lancey 0 for 2. Struck out swinging. Took a call, third strike. Pitch goes outside for a ball. Cool here at Spaulding Field as it cooled down, but there's not a wind, so it feels a lot better. Bottom of the 4th. 8-1 Winnacunnet. Swing and a pitch in the dirt. Recovered by Melican down to second. Save. Nice throw by Melican.
Strong throw down to second base. Winnacunnet leaned off the base a little farther than he had wanted to with the ball squirting away, but Melican came up and threw a strong throw to second base. Winnacunnet back in time, however.
The pitch by Kelly, hit up the middle. It's going to go into center field. They're going to send the runner. Yes, they are. And the throw into second as he never could get a handle on it, and it's 8-2 Winnacunnet as Spaulding gets a run in.
That error costly now by Kelly throwing over to first, trying to pick off Winnacunnet on a play where there was really no attempt, allowing Winnacunnet to move up into scoring position. On the base hit by Lancey, he scores the second run of the ball game for Spaulding.
And here's John Panelides.
Here you see the base hit. McNally was covering the bag a little bit, trying to get back in the shortstop position. Line shot up the middle with the bobble in center field. No play at home as Winnacunnet crosses the plate.
Bisbee didn't get the handle on it, so that made it easily for the runner to score. He would have anyway. He had such a wide turnaround third, but then they threw into second just to prevent a runner from coming down there. Here's Panelides with a count 1-0. Raiders down 8-2 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th to the Winnacunnet Warriors of Hampton. Panelides opposite field going off. I don't know if it went off or beyond the football press box.
Fouled it out of play onto the bleachers facing the football stadium.
Indeed, it went over them and onto the field beyond the track. Throw to first. Somehow you wonder with a 8-1 lead and a runner on first, well, you want to keep them close, but you say it did cost them a run now.
You don't want to take the chance of throwing it away. He's trying to keep him off balance there as he's had the runners leaning back towards the bag as he comes to the plate, but when you do it, you can get stung by it as he did with Winnacunnet, allowing him to score, move up into scoring position and lay a score on the Lancey single.
Pitch fouled back. 2-2. Bottom of the fourth. Raiders get that run back, but they need 6 more to tie. Mike Guile, who has gotten good mileage out of Kelly once this year, that we know of, hoping to get some more. Pitch and swung on, ground ball to the right side over Carlino, throw to first, and they got the runner, Panelides, and that ends that inning. Spaulding gets 1 run back, but trails it as we go to the 5th, 8-2 against Winnacunnet.
When you want great food and a relaxing atmosphere, you want Cardinal's Seafood and Steakhouse. Yes, Cardinal's, serving fresh lobster, mouth-watering prime rib, roasted chicken, and so much more. Cardinal's has been serving delicious meals for over 50 years. If you'd like to help yourself, Cardinal's has a generous food festival buffet, complete with fresh vegetables, ham, roast beef, and more. Cardinal's has based their reputation on freshness and quality. Come and experience a meal at Cardinal's today. Cardinal's Seafood and Steakhouse, exit 15 on the Spaulding Turnpike, Route 11, Rochester.
Top half of the 5th inning here at Spaulding High School is the Red Raiders trailing Winnacunnet by a score of 8-2. And Kevin Ford giving up 3 runs, but only 1 after the first inning, after 5 with charge of Jim Collins. Keeping Spaulding in the game, but the Red Raiders bats, Kevin, haven't been able to come alive.
They haven't done the job on the offensive end. They've had a couple of runners in scoring position. They've only been able to get 2 of them across the plate. They've left 6 runners on base through 4 innings. In the game when you're trailing by 6 runs, you can't afford to do that.
David Carlino, the first baseman, will lead it off for the Warriors here in the top of the 5th. Had a 2-run single in the first inning and struck out. Took a called third strike in the second. So Ford, the last of his warm-up tosses, as Carlino will step in. Carlino, the right fielder Kevin Shaw, and the catcher Alex Kellogg. Our first 3 batters to face Ford. Reminder, the Raiders are home here on Monday the 7th against Londonderry, and on the 11th, Friday the 11th, face Portsmouth here, a game you'll see on New England Cablevision Channel 3. Night of the Big Boys Southeastern New Hampshire track meet. So there'll be all sorts of activity here at Spaulding Field that night.
That's the big night for the Spaulding complex. They usually have home baseball game, home tennis match, home softball game, and the big track meet with all the teams from the southeast.
The PA system's flying all around the place, talking about last call for triple jumpers, and then who's coming up to bat. So it's always interesting. Swing and a miss by Carlino. So Ford has really done a job. Worked, what, 3 2/3, I think? No, 4. 4 complete innings is what he's worked. And gets a strikeout. Here's Kevin Shaw. Shaw 0 for 2. Did reach on an error or a fielder's choice in the first inning and score. And then struck out swinging in the 3rd. Swings and misses at that first pitch for a strike. Swings again as Kevin Shaw looks just as strong now as he was started out.
Ford's just
Kevin
coming
Ford,
in
rather,
with some high heat, getting it up above the letters, and he got Shaw swinging at a couple of those high pitches.
0-2 now, strike 3. Does he get him swinging at that one? Get him on 3 pitches, a 2 up, 2 down here in the 5th inning, the top of the 5th for Winnacunnet. Brings up Alex Kellogg, the catcher. Kellogg walked in the 1st inning, flied to right in the 3rd. Correction, Kellogg is moved to a new position.
He's moved to 3rd base while Allwood came out of the game and Melican went to catch.
Round to the right side, going to sneak into right field for a base hit.
Now batting number 1, Jeff McNally, the shortstop. Number 1, McNally.
There you see the base hit. Wizawati ranging to his left. Tried to make the diving attempt at it, but could not make the play.
There's McNally, the shortstop. 2-run single on the ball lost in the lights. I went to center in the 1st, struck out swinging in the 3rd. Ford's pitch goes outside in the dirt. Nice pickup by Lancey. 8-2, Winnacunnet here in the top of the 5th inning with 2 outs. As the Red Raiders at 4-4, Winnacunnet at 2-4 coming into this game. All came about on that 1 inning, Kevin. That 7-run 1st inning by Winnacunnet that dictated the tempo with this game.
Put Spaulding behind the 8-ball right away before they even had an at-bat. It's been tough coming back all the way.
Throw down to 2nd, and not in time. Especially there were a couple of problems with the lights, but they were taken care of, and things have gone along pretty smoothly since then. So McNally, the runner on 2nd, he's down in the count 1-2. And the pitch outside. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Struck out the side. And we go to the bottom of the 5th, Winnacunnet 8, Spaulding 2.
Dry cleaning done the right way at Cullen's Cleaners, 130 South Main Street, across from the Rochester Common. So many people recognize that Cullen's work is professional, and here are some of the reasons why. Red Neeland, Ruth Chase, Peggy Simmons, and Liz Batchelor. And just as importantly, your dry cleaning is done right on time, every time. Open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and Saturdays, 8 a.m. until noon. Dry cleaning and pressing, alterations, and same-day service if necessary. Cullen's Cleaners, 130 South Main Street, Rochester.
Bottom of the 5th inning, and time running short for the Spaulding Red Raiders as they're down 6 runs, facing Roger Kelly, who came on in the 4th inning and gave up a run. Jamie Keefe, a shortstop, will lead it off. Brandon Gullison, the designated hitter, and Eric Pinkham in right field will face Kelly. The Raiders have 5 hits in the game.
5 also for Winnacunnet, but they've been able to get more runs than Spaulding as they've lead the contest 8-2. And Spaulding, as you said, running out of time. They need to really get something going this inning. In the 5th inning, they got the meat of the order up, 3, 4, and 5 hitters. They need to try to get a couple of runs across.
They don't do it here. They could be in serious trouble. Already trailing by 6. Pitch up high. It almost would come to be now, Kevin, that you don't go for anything less as a strike, even though you're down by 6, just to get runners on and try to get something going somewhere.
You need to be a patient hitter. It's really going to be up to the individual probably if they like taking that first strike or not. If it's over, I'm sure there'll be a couple of hitters who would like to sit on that and try to get the best pitch they can and try to hit it someplace hard. And this is the part of the order that is really capable of doing that.
Keefe ahead on the count, 2-0. Pitch, and he goes under it on a 2-0 count, pops it up, down, foul down the first baseline to Carlino. I wonder if he wishes he could take that one back.
Got under that pitch and hit it a high fly ball pop-up to the first baseman who settled under it and made the catch in foul territory.
Brings up Brandon Gullison. 0 for 2 in the game.
Paul Bushway, one of Spaulding's bright spots offensively, has been on the bench with an injury, a sprained ankle he suffered in practice earlier this week. Hoping to be back in action for Friday's game, and that's been a loss for him. He supplied some power. Saw him hit a home run in a 3 for 4 performance against Bishop Girton.
1 ball to Gullison. As the temperature's dropping here at Spaulding Field, Kevin, I'm sure you can feel it. Haven't got that heater on. There isn't one available. Hit to shortstop. McNally is going to throw to first, and there's 2 down.
Hard hit ball by Gullison, but on the one hop, McNally came up throwing hard over to first for the out.
Here's Eric Pinkham, the right fielder. RBI line drive single to left in the first. Triple dropped inside the right field line in the third. Has 2 of the Raiders' 5 hits. Spaulding trailing at 8-2 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Can't get anything going right now. 1 run in the first, 1 in the 4th, while Winnacunnet had 7 runs in the first and 1 in the 4th. So, ironically, both teams have scored all their runs in the same innings. And under it there, Kelly threw a nice breaking pitch on that one, and it's going to be, well, no, it won't be corralled by the second baseman as he couldn't find it, and safe at second.
That's some hustle right there by Pinkham. As soon as he hit that ball high in the air, he got on his horse and he hit first base as that ball was coming down. He was not even halfway there as it dropped. He knew that it had a chance of dropping on the high pop fly, and he hustled into second.
Well, that's the kind of play that makes coaches' hair get gray early. As Goodwin. Then I think another problem, just lost it in the lights, Kevin, or something. He just never could find the handle on that.
The ball gets up that high and it can do things in the air, and the thing about that is that could possibly be Goodwin's first time ever seeing a ball like that. You don't get any of those in practice because no one is really capable of hitting them that high, and you get a ball like that in a game, playing in a night game, high above the lights, and you're not sure exactly where it's going to land. Pinkham knew that, and
pickoff attempt at second. Ball rolls into center field, backed up by Bisbee. The way things are going here for the Warriors, it might be better if they restrain from trying to pick people off because they got in trouble the last time they tried it.
That's where they've been getting into trouble, trying to pick people off second and keep them close at first, allowing the runners to move up a base.
Kelly now coming to the plate in the dirt. Gets him back a Melican. Quick recovery. No advancement by Pinkham. You see in the line, there's Pinkham at second. Greg Caggiulari, the base umpire. With a delivery outside, a swing and a miss. Looked like it broke outside the strike zone. As Andy Donatello 0 for 2 in the game is the batter. Inside. 2-1. Jamie Strayer on deck. Donatello, the Red Raiders center fielder. Hit high to third, bobbled over there, the throw, and it's in time. And that ends it. The Raiders leave a runner at second, going to the 6th inning. Winnacunnet 8, Spaulding 2.
A lot of people will tell you that cocaine not only will get you high, but will take your performance to a different level.
JJ McCormick's not really going hardship. I'm going lottery. Hey, JJ! I'm JJ, man.
But in this game, the higher you go, the closer you get to the bottom.
What the hell's going on? You guys see JJ?
Police announced that they'd arrested JJ McCormick.
Here we have gone to the 6th inning. Coming to the top of the 6th inning, Winnacunnet 8, Spaulding 2, after a 45-minute first inning. And we have, what is it, a new pitcher for the Red Raiders?
Looks like Pinkham's gone into pitch, and Ford's moved to right field.
Who's gone to right?
Okay, Eric Pinkham is now pitching.
Eric Pinkham now pitching.
And Ford in right field.
Ford is now playing right field.
So Kevin Ford is staying in, well, Brandon Gullison is going to continue to hit for him. And the first batter that Pinkham will face should be the catcher, Dan Winnacunnet. So the Warriors of Winnacunnet, after losing a 3-2 and 10-8 in the last 2 games, Exeter and Dover, leading this one 8-2. If this should remain the same, it obviously would be a confidence builder for the Winnacunnet Warriors.
Especially after losing a couple of tough games. They've been in most of their contests this year, and they just haven't been able to squeak out a win. This time they jump on Spaulding early, and if they can hold on to this one, it will help their confidence. In Spaulding, on the other hand, riding a winning streak, winning 4 out of the last 5 games, wanted to keep that going, but really did not put everything together, did not have the pitching or the hitting tonight so far, but there's still a couple innings left to do that.
Well, certainly are, but as you said, it's getting shorter. Swing and a miss. So for the pitching for Spaulding, Jimmy Collins started, did not get an out in the first inning, gave up 5 runs. Ford wound up in, what do we have, actually 5 innings of work. Gave up 3 runs. And he struck out a bundle. As we're trying to check that right now as to what good relief effort by Kevin Ford.
Gave up 9 hits. Gave up 2 hits and 9 Ks.
Swing and a miss by Milliken.
Make it 3 hits and 9 Ks for Ford in 5 innings of work.
But the Raiders have only been able to score a run apiece against Tim Sullivan and Roger Kelly. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. And that was smoke. So Bisbee, the center fielder, will come to the plate. Milliken now 0 for 2 with reaching on an error and scoring in the 4th, but striking out this inning. So Mike Bisbee, 2 walks in the first inning, scored the first time. He reached the base on balls. And a sacrifice bunt by Bisbee. So Bisbee officially has not been to the plate. Pitch inside. Oh, after the offense in the first inning, things have settled down. And the pitch is flared out to the right side. It's going to be grabbed by Wisawati. 2 up, 2 down. And here's Roger Kelly, the pitcher.
Pinkham coming in and throwing harder than the first 2 pitches for Spaulding. Throws a lot of heat, gets the ball up in the strike zone, and it's tough for some of these batters to catch up with it.
Kelly has a count of 1 ball, no strikes. Outside. Pitch up high. 3-0.
Spaulding pitchers have not been ahead of the count a lot in the game, excluding Ford. Ford did a nice job staying ahead of the hitters, and that's where Winnacunnet was extremely successful. Both their pitchers, Sullivan and Kelly, have been ahead of the Spaulding batters.
3 balls and 1 strike. Just thinking, this game actually marks the halfway point of the season for the Red Raiders. It's a 9th game, a swing and a miss by Kelly on a high pitch out of the zone. Well, Winnacunnet is playing their 7th game. And ball 4 to Kelly. Raiders haven't had a day off yet in the schedule. They will next week. Don't think they play the 9th. Following this game with Winnacunnet, they have games at Merrimack on the road, Londonderry at home, and back here on the 11th of May, scheduled for 7:30 against the Portsmouth High Clippers. Portsmouth, the team that has been struggling early in the season, lost to Spaulding 8-1. And the latest win, they improved their record to 3-6 by beating Trinity 3-2. There's 16 teams make the tournament this season. Pinkham's throw to first. Ball gets away, but it's not in time.
Pinkham trying to keep that runner close at second. Quite a few players have stolen already for Winnacunnet, not wanting that runner to get in scoring position with 2 outs, but has to be careful of throwing the ball away and allowing the runner to move up.
Pitch up high. It was the Red Raiders, Kevin, were picked, I guess, high and early in the season in a preseason poll, but things have not worked out quite that way. At 4-4 right now.
They were looking to get over the 500 mark tonight. They haven't been over that all season yet. This could have marked that first time over the 500, but run into a tough Winnacunnet squad who leads 8-2 in the 6th.
And threatening right now to put another runner on base. There goes a runner, the throw to second, and they get him. What happened there, but whatever it was, Winnacunnet goes down, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. Winnacunnet 8, Spaulding 2.
The year was 1781. 5 bloody years of war between Britain and her American colonies would soon end. But it would take a true peacemaker to bring Imperial Britain and young America to an agreement. The peacemaker who would strike the treaty we live by today was Benjamin Franklin, who began this historic assignment at the age of 75. Age, it makes us peacemakers.
When I grow up, I want to be a track star.
No one ever says, I want to be a junkie when I grow up. Don't let drugs get in the way of your dreams.
Yeah. Bottom of the 6th inning, the Spaulding Red Raiders need some runs. They're trailing at 8-2 to the Winnacunnet Warriors. Jamie Strayer, Aaron Horn, Jay Wissawarty will be the batters to face Roger Kelly, who's been on since the 4th inning. Done a good job, Kevin. Allowed 1 hit.
Both pitchers have been on top of their game for Winnacunnet. They've stayed ahead of the batters, and that's the key in high school baseball. When you're a pitcher, you have to throw strikes, and then you can move around with your location and speeds and try to get the batters swinging at something they don't want to go up there swinging at.
And it's temperature, as we said, it's getting a little bit cool here at Spaulding Field. Of course, the heat was on for Winnacunnet in the 1st inning when they got those 7 runs, which is was the story of this game because it's 8-2. And their pitching has done well as Sullivan pitched 3 fine innings. Sullivan wound up giving 1 run in 3 innings on 4 hits, striking out, I think it was 6, before he went to left field, and Kelly came in. He's been on since the 4th. Jamie Strayer takes a strike call. Strayer, Horn, Wissawarty, first baseman, left fielder, second baseman, respectively, for the Red Raiders. 4-4 Spaulding team against the 2-4 Winnacunnet team. Down foul down the 3rd baseline. Of course, as we were saying, talking about it up here in the booth, that except for the 1st inning and the light power outage, the game has moved along smoothly.
Exclude them, and it is a quick game, but with them, we're looking over 3 hours.
That's what you're looking at. Two strikes on the batter, Strayer. And he swings and fouls it off the plate.
Kelly came inside with the pitch. Strayer got it in on the fist and fouled it off with 2 strikes.
Maybe May 2nd, but temperature probably feels like January 2nd. Feels somewhat like you're in a hockey rink, doesn't it, Kevin?
Still chilly.
Play it out into left center. They can't get it. Drops in for a base hit. Strayer leads it off. Spaulding's 6th hit of the game. And we got a pinch hitter for Horn.
Alan Wickstrom.
Number 4, pinch hitting for Aaron Horn. Alan Wickstrom. Number 4, Wickstrom.
Alan Wickstrom will be pinch hitting for Aaron Horn here in the 6th inning.
There you see the flare going out into center field. McNally trying for the diving catch, but out of the reach of him, and strays on with a single.
So Wickstrom batting for Horn. Of course, Paul Bushway, who has been hurt, is on the bench.
I don't think he's able to swing with the foot.
Unfortunately, that's taken a big offensive bat, a big bat out of the Red Raiders lineup. A lot of punch gone with that bat. It's up high. Because if Kelly should run into trouble and Mike Guile think it necessary, he could bring Sullivan back in.
Only going 4 innings, he could bring him back in because he's still in the field.
Well, actually, he only went 3.
3 innings, yep. Going
so he's
under
got 2
5.
more to go before they miss him for 3 days. So he can bring him back in. Well, he could anyway. It's just that he. Ground ball back on the second for 1. Throw to first. Not in time. As Goodwin over made a nice play to get the runner as the ball was fairly sharply hit by Wickstrom, who reaches on the field as choice.
You see the ground ball going to second base. Trying to turn 2 up the middle, but just too slowly hit. There's the flip, and Goodwin over to McNally, coming up throwing, but down the line, just beat out by Wickstrom.
Decent play with Goodwin going over there to get to it. See, it wasn't hit sharply enough to get into center field. And there's the thing, Melican throwing down to first.
Really no play down there at first. Wickstrom just moved down the baseline a couple of steps, and Melican throwing the ball around, throws it down to first base. Wickstrom back in plenty of time, but almost goes into right field.
Went out for the Raiders here over to first, and the pitch gets away.
And goes out of bounds.
Goes out of play down the...
out of play, should give him third base.
He gets third base on that, right? No, wait a minute. No, it's 1 from the mound, 2 from the field. Isn't that the rule? 1 from the mound, 2 from the field is how you always go with it. So it. Okay, so the error here again, something that cost Winnacunnet Spaulding's second run.
Unnecessary too, trying to pick him off. The runner on first base up 6 runs for a team really don't need to concentrate on him too much, but electing to try to pick him off, and they allow him to move up the scoring position.
Winnacunnet at the plate, the second baseman, walked in the second inning and singled in the 4th. I think Mike Guile believes in the thing of having to throw to keep the runner close. As a matter of fact, his team beat Alvin Hudson on a fact where they tried to pick off a runner at second. The ball went into shallow left center. It was wide of second on the error, and the runner scored. But right now, get away as a pitch down in the dirt, and advancing to third on the wild pitch is Wickstrom. 3 balls and a strike. Mike Guile, the coach of the Warriors, a little bit concerned right now, I think. There's 1 out, but he still has to come out to settle his pitcher down.
Settle the pitcher down, not with his pitching, but electing to get the guy looking at the runner on base. They're trying to pick him off at first and then throwing a wild pitch. It's down in the count 3-1. Needs to concentrate on the batter, go right after Winnacunnet. The run on third base really doesn't mean much unless Spaulding gets something going. For Spaulding, he can build some momentum with the Winnacunnet players throwing the ball around so much.
I'd like to get this runner on and get to, you said, build some momentum by getting a couple in. You got 5 outs left to tie it, but the Warriors for their side, coming in here, the visiting team, after losing 2 tough games, getting off 7 runs, and getting the good pitching and defense, basically, to hold on. But a couple of pickoff errors by Kelly have, well, one hurt them, allowing 1 run, and this one has put a runner on third. His error in a wild pitch. And outside for a ball. Said Mike Guile came out to talk with his pitcher. And here's T.J. Lancey, who wound up striking out in the first and second innings and singling in the 4th, 1 for 3 in the night. And we're into the night, that's for sure. It isn't early, it's very
deep into the night.
Deep into it. For one point, we thought we wouldn't get out of here for quite a while. We actually haven't out of here yet. Pitch, just a little high for a ball. T.J. Lancey, the catcher, at the plate with Panelides on deck. Is the pitch. Rip deep down the left field line. That ball is fair ball. It's a fair ball and 2 runs are going to score. And
it was
okay,
hooking.
2 runs are going to score. It was hooking just inside.
Looked like it had a chance to either go foul or maybe reach the fence for a home run, and T.J. Lancey got the inside pitch and hit it deep to left field. Matter of if it was going to stay fair or not. Had quite a hook on it as it got up into the midnight air.
So it's a 2-run double for T.J. Lancey, and as we said, they brought Tim Sullivan back in from left field, and Kelly will go out there, so they exchange positions. And the ball down there, it's 8-4. As it looked like, you're right, that ball just got in there, Kevin. It looked like it might have gone foul. So a 2-run double by Lancey.
Left field is now back in pitching, and Roger Kelly has gone to left field.
So Sullivan back in. And probably as soon as that ball was hit, Mike Guile knew he had to make that change.
Brought Sullivan right back in. It looked like he came out to talk to Kelly before that and gave him this batter. And once T.J. Lancey delivered a 2-run double, it was all for Kelly, and he came right back with Sullivan as ace. Gave some life to Spaulding, though, bringing Kelly in and scoring some runs off him. Now they still got a good part of their order up, a runner in scoring position, and only 1 out.
And of course, Sullivan with just the, 8 warm-up, what have you, warm-up pitches that he gets. So he hasn't been pitching for quite a while.
The arm can get cold out in the outfield, too, and he's had a lot of delays. He pitched, had delay, pitched, had a delay, and pitched again, and now he's had this long delay in the outfield, so it can really play with his arm.
Panelides will be the first batter he'll face. Panelides 0 for 3 tonight. Takes a strike call. Grounded to second, struck out swinging, grounded to first. First to pitcher.
Head coach Bolin not happy with that call there, as it looked like it was low and in the dirt. Came with the big breaking ball, and
Panelides calling time. I guess people are upset with the call by Frank Du Bois.
There's the replay of the double. As you see it drop just on the line, it almost appeared. That was close.
That was close. With that showdown there, just on the line. If it, I would not want him to make that call.
Especially how dark it can get out there in the outfield.
Good shot of that. And you said, Kevin, the way we could tell, I couldn't tell when it was first out there, and you almost can't now.
Very
just
close
on
call.
the chalk. But a big break or whatever for Spaulding when they needed 1-1. Ground ball to the left side. Coming over the bobble and the throw in the dirt. Another break for the Raiders as it's going to be 8-5 as the throw by Kellogg as he cut in front of the shortstop went into the dirt. And here's where the Warriors' young defense may suffer. I don't know if you want to call that a hit and an error.
I think we'll go with the error because he had the play at first if the ball was not in the dirt.
But a break for Spaulding as it's 8-5, so the Raiders' bats and breaks are awakening here. There's been a couple errors in the inning. A big double that hit the chalk down the left field corner, the line by T.J. Lancey, who's home.
The 9th error in the ball game total for both teams.
Well, here's Jamie Keefe. Here's Jamie Keefe, and I think this is getting The crowd going down below us. Getting colder. It's heating up on the Spaulding side. 8-5 now. The Raiders have scored 3 runs here with 1 out still in the bottom of the 6th inning. Tim Sullivan's had to come on. Pitch inside. Sullivan has problems. Mike Guile might have some problems bringing in somebody else. He could bring in Paul Shaw.
He has his ace right now. I'm sure he's going to want to ride him as long as he can. The one problem maybe if he never really got his arm loose and he's way away from the plate.
Pitch, strike called. Thing is, he sort of a young ball club, and you do have Milliken and Shaw that could pitch. Of course, Kelly could come back in. But you're right, Sullivan is probably the one he wants to depend on for the rest of this game if he can. And it's foul down the third base line.
Came in with a slow breaking ball, and once again, Jamie Keefe out and head of the pitch. Fouled it off down the third base line.
Come on, Jamie, be a hitter.
So as it was zipping along, of course, the Raiders only scoring 1 run in the first and 1 in the fourth have got a couple of breaks and a big 2-run double by T.J. Lancey to score 3 here in the 6th. Pitch up high for a ball. 3-2. Looks like some heat thrown by Sullivan. They must be kind of cool out there, those players. If we're called in because they're moving, it may not feel it as much, but it's temperature it is not 60 degrees out there, I can tell you that.
It's dipped down low.
We'll be ready to crawl under the blankets tonight. Pitch and a high drive hit to left field. Going back on it, going back, he can't get it. Ball's up against the fence. It's going to be 8-6. As pulling into second with a double is Jamie Keefe, and scoring was John Panelides. So Jamie Keefe with a big double.
Cutting right back into this ball game, and a double followed by an error and another double.
And here's Brandon Gullison, and the tying run is at the plate. Where have I heard that before? It's true, the tying run is at the plate.
They've battled back down 8-2.
We were talking between one of the breakages, the stoppages due to the light problem. Pitch gets away from Milliken. Going to third is Keefe. That was in the dirt, called a wild pitch. That we thought Spaulding would score more runs, and they have, but it's taken them longer than I thought it might have. But
we thought we'd get some more in the middle innings, but took them to the 6th inning to really get back into this ball game. Now they only trail by 2 runs, and head coach Mike Guile concerned now as he heads towards the field. Won't go across the line so that he doesn't have to worry about changing a pitcher or anything, but just wants to talk to his players.
This Winnacunnet club is, they got those 7 runs early. They made some decent plays before then, got some good pitching, and now they had a couple of errors in this inning, one on a pickoff throw. Actually, 2 errant pickoff throws that cost them a couple runs in the ball game.
We talked that might come back and haunt them, and it's really those couple of runs in the first inning, the first couple of innings really has. Those have been big runs now.
It's a ball. 2 balls and a strike to the batter, Brandon Gullison. Gullison, and the on-deck hitter is Pinkham. So the Red Raiders making it very, very interesting here in the bottom of the 6th. Time is called by Gullison. 8-6. You probably would have figured a game that the first inning took a total of 45 minutes to play, after which it was 7-1, would turn out like this. Pitch drops down low. You know what? I think what's going on there is where it isn't where the pitch lands in the glove. It's where it crosses the plate, and obviously it's catching that part You can probably see it on that shot better than we can here. Catching the strike zone. And it's fouled off at the plate by Gullison. Well, the Raiders coming up with a 4-run rally here in the bottom of the 6th, trailing 8-2 entering the inning. As we have Greg Brooks directing. I don't think too many people are warm here with John Rodenhouse up top and Paul Mannion on first. Pitch, swing and a miss as he broke one in for strike 3.
Came with that breaking ball that's been really effective for Tim Sullivan. He came with the breaking ball and had once again a rate of batter off balance. And Eric Pinkham, who's really hit the ball well today, comes up to bat.
2 for 3. An RBI single in the first, triple in the third, reached on an error in the 5th. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Raiders trailing at 8-6. Well, this looks vaguely familiar to that first game we did here.
Battled back in that game.
That gets under that one, pops it high in the air. McNally at shot should have a beat on this one. He does, and that ends the Raiders' rally. They come up with 4 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning, and as we go to the 7th, it's Winnacunnet 8, Spaulding 6.
Suzelle's Restaurant, Route 16 in Somersworth. The place to come to time and time again. Specializing in their famous all-you-can-eat buffet. And many superbly prepared food items that make Suzelle so well known in the Seacoast. Friendly and personable service, that's the key. And the people at Suzelle's are like nowhere else around. Don't forget the banquet facilities downstairs for your party or private function. It's Suzelle's Restaurant, Route 16 in Somersworth.
Keep smoking crack, and eventually you'll be left with nothing.
All right, we finally reached the 7th inning, top of the 7th, but this is far from over, Kevin, as Tim Sullivan now pitching again for Winnacunnet leads it off. Now we've got somebody change for Spaulding.
Alan Wickstrom just staying in left field when he pinch hit for Aaron Horn. So he's staying in to play left field.
Pitch by Pinkham, hit out into right center. Donatello over and makes the grab. So Tim Sullivan flies out to Andy Donatello.
Pinkham looking to shut the door now on Winnacunnet and having 3 more outs for Spaulding to get back and tie this game up.
It brings up Chris Goodwin, the second baseman. Goodwin 0 for 3, but scored a run after reaching on an error in the first inning. Boy, 1 inning makes a difference in a ball game. 7 runs by Winnacunnet, but we are also checking the left on base total by the Red Raiders. 8, but 4 runners stranded on third base. That has now come back to hurt them. And an inning that they didn't, they had 2 runners on with 1 out in the second. They left runners on second and third in that inning.
Bushway swinging a bat now with his ankle taped, looking to see if he can put pressure on it outside the Spaulding dugout. He might be looking to use him in a pinch hit role in the bottom of the 7th inning. Pinkham's missed high when he's missed. There he misses high once again and needs to bring the ball down low in the strike zone.
Well, after that first inning, the rate of pitching has done what it needed to do, only giving up 1 run. But you've got to basically give credit to Sullivan and Kelly. A couple of errors in there and a big base hit. Raiders 6 runs, the way that games have gone previously, they would have won a ball game. But they gave up a lot. As they said, and what do they say? Struck out?
Struck out, came in high and inside and trying to duck out of the way. Goodwin flashed his bat past the plate and they called him out on the check swing.
That brings up first baseman David Carlino, the 2-run single in the first inning on the ball lost in the lights. And since then he's taken 2 called third strikes for the third out, or for his to be retired rather. Ended the second inning, and he led off the 5th. So hopefully the Raiders can get out of this inning without giving up another run. He gave up 7 runs in the first, 1 in the 4th. That's been it for Winnacunnet, but that was that one big inning. And as Hugo Bolden said, it was a team that basically it scared a lot of people, and they certainly did. And coming in here to Spaulding Field tonight, can't take anything for granted.
Certainly can't, not in high school baseball. And Spaulding came out of the block slow, giving up 7 runs, and right now that's been the killer.
Pitch inside, that's going to be ball 4 to Carlino, as Pinkham was way off the mark on that one.
Now batting number 12, Kevin Shaw.
Here's Kevin Shaw, the right fielder, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Scored a run after reaching on a fielder's choice in the first inning. So it's Winnacunnet 8, Spaulding 6 in the top of the 7th inning. Class L baseball here at Spaulding Field. Spaulding High School field in Rochester. Drive out to left, and circling out there, making the catch was Wickstrom. And that ends it. We go to the bottom of the 7th, Winnacunnet 8, Spaulding 6.
New England Furniture Company of Farmington now has a brand new showroom, the biggest and most beautiful in the area. Look at all the quality brand name furniture bedding that's available, with accessories. Dinette sets at the best prices around. There's an incredible display of sofas and chairs. Just take your pick. One is just right for your home. Plus all types of recliners, the perfect way to relax. Come in and browse in the Seacoast's most beautiful and biggest showroom, New England Furniture Company in Farmington.
Well, we're coming to the bottom of the 7th. And let's see who we've got leading on. Will be
Donatello.
Andy Donatello leading it off.
Donatello, Strayer.
Donatello and Strayer, and notice it's Wickstrom.
We'll see if they'll use any pinch hitters. Paul Bushway is still up swinging the bat.
They could use him or one of those two, but Donatello's going to lead it off. Andy Donatello is 0 for 3 tonight, center fielder. And the pitch outside. All these little things that 4 runners left on base, that 7-run first inning, really, you could look back at it and say that was the key. It is the key of the whole thing. A fly ball to right field. Right fielder making the catch out there, Shaw. 1 out. That really was the whole key. They got behind, and Raiders have had to fight behind ever since.
They've had quite a bit of things to battle back from, leaving 4 people on third base to end innings, and 7-run first inning, which has really been the biggest problem, getting over that hump.
There's Jamie Strayer. So 1 down here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Spaulding down 8-6 to Winnacunnet as Sullivan. Oh, makes a swing and a miss. Sullivan, if this held up, would stand to be the winning pitcher, because he would have worked over 4 innings. Pitch inside for a ball. So 7 runs in the first inning by Winnacunnet.
Talking about if it's possible for him to get both the win and the save.
Well, it has happened before like that, I think. But he certainly would get the win, as it's 1-2.
Fans upset with the call once again.
Well, Sullivan throws a tricky breaking pitch. He's been throwing a lot of them. Here's Sullivan's 1-2 delivery. Swung on and missed for strike 3. The Raiders down to their last out. I think they were down like this earlier this year until they won their first game at Salem. They were down 3-1 and came back to win it in extra innings. And they're really down now with Alan Wickstrom at the plate.
Starter, how long do you have to go to be eligible for a win?
8-6 is the score. Winnacunnet leading Spaulding. 2 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning at Spaulding Field. And the break pitch outside for a ball. Raiders scored once in the first after Winnacunnet had scored 7 in the top of the inning. Once in the 4th after the Warriors had scored again in the top of that inning, 1 run. And 4 times in the 6th, fouled off to the right. Well, it's been a long night here as a JV game was played earlier, so people from Hampton have been up here all afternoon and evening.
JV game took long too, as the final was 22-2 in favor of the Spaulding JV, so that got the Spaulding varsities in a late start, and then all the complications we've had in the long innings. It's ran it well into the night.
Pitch is fouled off, rolls back near the screen. Of course, understand your youngest brother's playing on that team, isn't he?
Playing with the JVs.
Do you have any hits tonight? Probably.
I came late. I did walk in as he had 1 hit.
I think you were his good luck charm. Probably cranked it off one of the signs out there. Inside for a ball. Sullivan throwing hard. He wants to end this one. The Raiders, of course, want to extend it. Pitch swung on and missed, strike 3, and that's the ball game. As the Winnacunnet Warriors, off a 7-run first inning, hold off the Spaulding Red Raiders and win 8-6, as the Warriors improve their record to 3-4. Spaulding drops to 4-5. Kevin, we said that first inning, the Raiders just had to battle from behind. They had other opportunities. They left 8 runners stranded, 4 at third base in the game, including 2 in the 2nd inning. And they just couldn't get by, even though they came up with a 4-run rally in the 6th inning. Those middle innings hurt them.
It was too much to overcome with the 7 runs in the first inning, and only came on 3 hits. Winnacunnet only had 5 hits throughout the ball game with 8 runs, and Spaulding had 9 hits, only scoring 6. But that first inning was just too much for Spaulding to overcome, and when the pitching had just started to look good, they start to falter and they give up 8 runs. I don't think it's all pitching's fault. Jim Collins had some trouble in the first, gave up some walks and some singles with some errors thrown in there, and it spotted a 7-0 lead that Spaulding just couldn't come back from.
Right, there was 3 hits and 3 errors in that inning, a couple of walks, and that hurt the Red Raiders. So they fall 8-6 to Winnacunnet. Halfway through the season, the Red Raiders are 4-5. Winnacunnet now 3-4 on the campaign. Tim Sullivan picks up the win, and Jim Collins the loss. Raiders next go to Merrimack and London, host Londonderry at home on the 7th, and come back here, a game you'll see on Channel 3 New England Cablevision when they host Portsmouth on the 11th of May. So that's it. I want to thank the camera crew, the directors, Greg Brooks directing tonight, the camera crew up top of John Rodenhouse, Paul Mannion at first base for their great work tonight, and Kevin Conley for working with me. Once again, the final score from Spaulding High School Field. Winnacunnet 8, Spaulding 6. I'm Pete Barker. Good night. Up through the middle.